Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is the GXSimmer. We are on Chapter 5, Season 2 of Nina and Amanda. And in this episode, Nina's going on a date tonight with a very handsome man named Sterling Matheson. What's going to happen? You're going to have to watch to find out. And if you like this content, remember, like, share, subscribe, click notifications so you always know when we're coming out with a new episode. Let's talk about the next episode of Nina and Amanda. Okay, so Nina accidentally bumped into somebody at a charity event. That somebody turned out to be Sterling Matheson, a publicist and media mogul for outdoor travel. They hit it off. They had a great conversation. They had not a date, and had a great time. So tonight they're having, well, actually tomorrow night, they're having a real date. You can see that Nina's in her office working, and she's about to get a phone call. So let's listen in, see what's going on. Hi there.
Hi. Listen, I've been thinking.
About?
Do you like Italian cuisine?
I do like Italian cuisine.
Do you like Italian art?
I do like Italian art too.
Great. Tomorrow night we'll have dinner at this great Italian restaurant, and then I'd like to take you to a gallery. They're having an exhibition of Italian art. What do you think? The theme for the evening will be Italy.
Oh, that sounds great. I have been to an exhibition for a while, Nina said. It sounds like it would be fun.
Then I'll pick you up at 5 tomorrow. We'll have a nice dinner, and then we'll go to the gallery after.
He said. Sounds great, she said.
Then it's a date,
he said. Yes, it is, she said back with a grin as she blushed. So the following day at 5 o'clock, by the penthouse elevator as she came down, he smiled at her as soon as he saw her. She had on the same dress she wore at the benefit, but it looked amazing on her. He wore a dark blue suit and smiled as he saw her, presenting her with another long-stem rose. She again smiled as she took it and sniffed it. It's lovely, she said. As are you. He told her to take her hand and kiss it gently while he walked with her over to his car that was waiting by the back entrance. He opened the back door for her and then went inside, closing the door behind him. He signaled for his driver to go. She smiled as he had set up a small vase with water in it and placed the rose inside of it. You've thought of everything, haven't you? She asked. He smiled and said, Perhaps. Then they drove to the restaurant, where the host led them to a table. The host also displayed a bottle of wine and opened it for the two of them. Sterling nodded to the host and picked up his glass, saying to her, To an extraordinary evening. She smiled back and clinked her glass with his, sipping the wine, smiling back at him. Up until this point, she had never been on a date with a man. She'd never even flirted with a man. But this felt different. He felt different. She felt special and appreciated. This wasn't like her relationship with Addie or even Amanda. This was different. And she liked that feeling. She liked the way he looked at her and smiled at her. She loved the compliments he showered upon her and how his eyes seemed to dance when he looked at her. She hadn't felt like this in such a long time. What the hell was this? Is this what a date was supposed to feel like? And she chuckled aloud at the thought. What's so funny? He asked as their meal arrived. Well, I'm afraid you'll laugh, she said as he blushed. Try me, he told her. It just occurred to me that I've never really been on a date. Not like this, anyway. I find that very hard to believe, he joked. Someone as beautiful as you has never been on a date like this before? No, she said. I mean, I've had relationships, but they've never been quite normal. I like being here with you very much. I like talking to you and learning about you. I feel the same way. I'm very much enjoying our time together. I like you, Nina. Very much, he told her. I do too, she whispered, looking back at him. Forgive me for what I'm about to do. Which is what? And he kissed her. He held her hand, moved closer to her, and kissed her for the first time. As he parted from her, she smiled at him, and he kissed her again, while she kissed him back. They must have been kissing for a while, because the server cleared his throat and asked, Will there be anything else, sir? Sterling looked up and said, The check. Right? He asked Nina. Yes, Nina responded. Right away, sir, the server said. Where were we? Sterling asked. Right about here, I think, Nina whispered while he kissed her again. When the check arrived, they left the restaurant and went back to Sterling's car. They continued to kiss one another in the back seat as Sterling's driver drove them around the city. Although Nina loved being with him in the back seat, he reminded her that they had tickets for the gallery. And she laughed as she thought to herself, she never made out with anyone in the back seat of her car before. She told him it was fine, and they drove to the gallery while kissing one another. And during the gallery, while they viewed the many pieces of art, he held her hand and walked with her. They had discussions of art and music. They laughed. And while they tried to enjoy the gallery and be as proper as possible, both had each other on their minds. Sterling came back to her and whispered in her ear, Do you want to go back to the car? Nina nodded as they made a discreet exit. Sterling told the driver once more to drive around the city as he raised the privacy window, and he and Nina kissed one another while they enjoyed driving around San Myshuno. This is a wonderful evening, she said, with his arms wrapped around her. It is, he told her. It doesn't have to end, Nina. I know, but it is a first date. Actually, it's our second date. Technically our third. You mean that not a date, or when I splash punch all over you? He nodded. Exactly. I want to be alone with you, Nina. Come back to my place. I do too. I'd like to. But I'm not sure that's a good idea, she said nervously. What are you afraid of? It's a lot more comfortable. We could have a drink, listen to some music. Do more of this? He asked as he kissed her. That's what I'm afraid of, she whispered. What are you afraid of? He asked. I'm afraid I wouldn't want to stop. That doesn't sound like something to be afraid of, he told her. I would want to spend the night with you. I don't want to seem like we're rushing into this, Nina said. Well, I don't want to rush into it either, he said. But I do want to be with you. I don't want this night to end. I want to wake up in the morning beside you and make you breakfast. This doesn't feel rushed. It feels right. She laughed. You're truly one of a kind. The same is true for you, he told her, stroking her cheek. So, do you want to go back to my place? She nodded, yes. But you should know that you'd only be the second man I've ever been with. And I don't want to disappoint you. He smiled and just said, I don't think you could. I will endeavor to make this a memorable night for you. When she arrived at the apartment, the decor was very masculine. He had a green leather couch, a large area rug, TV on the wall, and a small bar in the corner of the room. The room was very dark as they walked in, and he kissed her. It may have been the second date or third date, as it was, technically, but there was no denying it. He may have been the second man she had ever been with in her life, but she wanted to be with him, and he wanted to be with her just as much. During the night, he was gentle and passionate. He made her feel like she was the only woman in his life. He whispered to her how beautiful she was and how she set him on fire. He kissed her deeply and passionately, and she loved being with him. He woo-hooed with her in a way that she had not known before, and a lot of it was a big surprise, literally. When they concluded, she fell asleep against his chest with her hand over his heart. His arms were around her. She felt safe and cared for. She also felt special and warm in his embrace. When she woke the following morning, she smiled at him and they woo-hooed in the morning. When they finished, she took a shower while he prepared a delicious breakfast for her. And she came out of the shower in his robe. "Smells fantastic," she said as she came over to the table and sat down, taking a bite. "This is delicious," she said as she ate. "I'm glad you like it," he told her. "You may think this is funny, but I had a feeling you'd be really hungry this morning." She chuckled. "Well, you may think this is funny too, but I think your robe smells so fresh and clean," she said with a smile. "Well, that's because I just had it washed yesterday," he told her, sitting down at the table. "This may also sound kind of funny, but once I had a college girlfriend who borrowed my robe and then complained it smelled awful." Nina covered her mouth, trying to stop from laughing. "Well, that's odd." Sterling chuckled too as he continued. "So since that night, before every date, regardless of the outcome, I've had my robe washed to prevent such a mishap." "Well, that was thoughtful," Nina said with another chuckle. "I'm glad you find it so amusing," he told her while he sipped coffee. "So, do you have a nickname aside from Sterling?" she asked. "I do. It's Guy." "Oh, Guy?" she asked. "How did that come about?" He smiled as he said, "Well, remember I told you, I worked at a restaurant in college? Well, my boss used to refer to me as that guy or hey guy, so the nickname Guy stuck. Only my close friends and family call me Guy, though." "I like you, Guy," she said with a smile. "I like you too, Nina," he whispered. "This is a wonderful breakfast." "Well, I like cooking for you," he told her. Nina blushed and chuckled. "What is it?" he asked. "This. I never expected this would happen so soon," she asked. "Everything I cautioned my daughter about, I just threw out the window." "Well, neither did I," he said. "I just don't want you to think that I wouldn't think that. I certainly don't myself. I was divorced almost a year before I even woohooed with another," he told her. "And I haven't been in a relationship for quite some time." "Me too," she said. "But I do enjoy spending time with you. And I would like to spend more time with you," he said with a smile. "So would I," she said back. "So why don't you finish your breakfast and we'll take a couple of minutes to just sit down and talk." She chuckled. "That sounds like a very good idea." She spent most of the afternoon at his apartment while he held her in his arms on the couch, talking, laughing, kissing. They woohooed 2 more times during the afternoon. Later, when they got hungry, instead of going out, They decided to stay in and order pizza and watch a movie. He asked her if she would stay over again, and she agreed. She hadn't been with someone like this in a long time, and she enjoyed being with someone again. And before bed, they woohooed yet again. She fell asleep in his arms once more. She felt like it was paradise. When she went back home on Sunday, she invited him to her penthouse on Monday for dinner that she would cook herself. He accepted the invitation, and she also advised him to keep an overnight bag with him. He was happy to oblige. She loved the dinner she prepared for him, and they had a quite romantic evening together. He did spend the night with her. And the following day, on Tuesday, when she usually had her weekly meetings with Rachel, she told Rachel about Guy. What did she tell Rachel about Guy? Well, that's what you're going to have to find out on episode 6 of Nina and Amanda. And I guarantee you're going to like what Rachel has to say about the situation. So, yeah, looks like Nina has taken a plunge and really gone forward with things where Guy is concerned. They're getting serious. She spent the night. He spent the night at her place. Okay, where's it going to go? Find out on episode 6, season 2 of Nina and Amanda next week. And if you really like this content, please like, share, subscribe. Always click notifications so you never miss an episode of Nina and Amanda or any of the other content that I have. Once again, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for all of your support. Liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all of that stuff helps the channel to grow. And I thank you profusely. Until next time, this is Jen, the GXSimmer. Have a great day or night, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.